الحسن والثناء الجميل وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له شهادة الحق واليقين وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله البشير النذير والسراج المنير صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى جميع النبيين وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن استنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين ثم أما بعد. My dearest brothers and sisters, we begin by thanking Allah Azza wa Jalla, our sustainer, our maker, He subhanahu wa ta'ala, who gave all of us the tawfiq. And because He gave us the tawfiq, we are all experiencing the best 10 days from the Islamic calendar. Ashrul Awail min Dhuʻl-Hijjah. They are the best 10 days from the Islamic calendar. In regards to which the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, أفضل أيام الدنيا. They are the best 10 days from the Islamic calendar. It is upon us, brothers and sisters, to really push ourselves, go above and beyond in doing those things that will enable us to attain the qurbah of our Khaliq, He subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he mentions that one of the greatest days amongst those 10 days is the day of Arafat. And we are heading in that direction. But we ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to give us the tawfiq. May Allah Azza wa Jalla give us the quwwah. May Allah Azza wa Jalla give us the strength so that we are able to make the best out of the day of Arafah. There were those that were amongst us. Allah did not give them the opportunity to reach the first 10 days of Dhuʻl-Hijjah. There may be those who don't reach tomorrow. But Allah Azza wa Jalla has blessed us so far. But we ask Him that He gives us the tawfiq to experience the day of Arafah, a day in which بإذن الله عز وجل we are able to attain forgiveness from Allah عز وجل. ما من يوم أكثر من أن يعتق الله فيه عبدا من النار من يوم عرفة. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم says, there is no other day in which Allah عز وجل forgives His servants in such a large volume, in such a large number, like the day of Arafah. Allah عز وجل will forgive thousands and thousands of people, not only those who are in the field of Arafah, but also those who are in different parts of the world making dua to Allah Azza wa Jal. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned this, and the scholars, they read this narration, they said after reading this, well, is this just applicable to the people in Arafah? Many of the ulama, they mention, such as Ibn Rajab, he says, عِتْقٌ مِّنَ النَّارِ لِمَنْ وَقَفَ بِعَرَفَةٍ. Allah Azza wa Jalla will give those who are standing on the field of Arafah salvation from Jahannam. عِتْقٌ مِّنَ النَّارِ لِمَنْ وَقَفَ بِعَرَفَةٍ. It will be salvation for those who are standing on the field of Arafah. What about those who are not in Arafah, like us? Right now we are in Stepney Green. What about us? Should we be hopeless? Absolutely not. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَقِفْ بِهَا مِنْ أَهْلِ الْأَمْصَارِ مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali, he says, well, it is also applicable for the Muslims in different part of the world. مِنْ كُلِّ أَنْهَاءِ الْعَالَمِ. Every part of the world, those who will be making lengthy du'as to Allah Azza wa Jal. So one of the main types of ibadah on the day of Arafah, and we are heading towards the day of Arafah, beside fasting, is making lots of dua to Allah Azza wa Jal. Asking Allah Azza wa Jal for all of our needs. Presenting to Allah Azza wa Jal all of our needs. Many of us are going through different types of turbulence. Many of us are experiencing different types of hardship. Whether it's hardship in relation to our job, hardship in relation to our family, hardship in relation to our health. Ya akhi, ya ukhti, whatever your difficulty is, present that to Allah Azza wa Jal. And I mentioned earlier, those of you who came late, you didn't listen to a beautiful hadith that I mentioned, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, Inna Allah hayyun kareemun. Inna rabbakum hayyun kareemun. Your Lord is the one who is most generous. And He feels shy when you ask Him for something. And yaruddahuma sifran. That you ask Him for something and He turns you away empty-handed. This is Allah Azza wa Jal. That whatever your need is, present it to Him. Ibn al-Qayyim, he says, Man ulhima ad-du'a faqad urida bihi al-ijaba. The one who raised his hand, remember, you didn't raise your hand. Allah gave you the tawfiq to raise your hand. Why? Because Allah wants to forgive you. You did not raise your hand. Allah gave you the tawfiq at that moment to raise your hand. Why did you raise your hand? Where did you get this thought from? Allah gave you the tawfiq, you raised your hand. Why? Man ulhima ad-du'a faqad urida bihi al-ijaba. Why? Because Allah wants to respond to your dua. So don't give up. Whatever your circumstance is, whatever hardship, turbulence, difficulty that you are going through, present your case to the one who is in charge of your affairs. We gave some examples from the life of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Hina ulqiya fin nar. He is just about to be thrown in the fire. He says, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. My Lord is sufficient for me. He is the best disposer of all of my affairs. Allah Azza wa Jal is in charge of our affairs. Whatever the difficulty you endure or you go through, present all of your difficulties to Allah Azza wa Jal. It is Allah Azza wa Jal who will give you a way out from sources you perceive not. While we head towards the day of Arafat, tonight, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, we should be mentally, physically, spiritually ready to fast on the day of Arafat. أحتسب على الله أن يكفر السنة التي قبله وبعده. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, I'm hopeful that Allah Azza wa Jalla will forgive you for a year worth of sin that you committed in the past and a year to come, just by fasting on the day of Arafat. Unless you're unwell, unless you're on medication, or you have a shari'i reason not to fast, you shouldn't miss that opportunity. Maybe Allah will not give you that opportunity again. This may be your last opportunity. With that attitude, with that mindset, approach every single opportunity that Allah Azza wa Jalla gives to each one of us. Brothers and sisters, Allah Azza wa Jalla has blessed us with these beautiful days. The last thing we want to do is destroy what we built. The 10 days that Allah has given us, many of us, mashallah, we went above and beyond. We did lots of beautiful ibadat. Don't destroy it on the day of Eid. And this is a message to everyone, especially our youngsters. Don't destroy all of the beautiful deeds that you accumulated on the day of Eid. Why? Shaitan is going to attack you from every single possible avenue that is available. فَمَا مِن طَرِيقِ خَيْرٍ إِلَّا وَالشَّيْطَانُ قَاعِدٌ فِيهِ. There is no path of goodness except you will find your enemy Shaitan sitting on that path. He will come with full force, try to destroy everything that you have accumulated. It will be a foolish thing to do, that you worked really hard and you're not paid for all of the work that you have done. On the day of Eid, Yawm al-Nahr, this is the day Shaitan will come full force and try to attack you from different angles so that Shaitan can destroy everything that you have accumulated. Young man, young woman, do not do something that displeases Allah. Do not do something that will earn the displeasure of Allah. Allah chose you as a Muslim. Allah chose you to be His servant. Honor that, cherish that, value that. Allah can take that away from you. Allah chose you to be Muslim while we are in the house of Allah. Remembering Ibrahim alayhi salam, his submission, surrender and obedience. Many people walking past the masjid, they will not come to pray. Many people don't know about Tawheed, the oneness of Allah, the sunnah of His Habib Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Allah gave us the tawfiq. He brought us to the masjid. He chose us to be His servants. Don't lose that. Allah can take that away from you. Young man, do not do something that is displeasing. Driving around on the day of Eid, doing things that are inappropriate. Do not approach someone else's sister. It could be someone else's mother. It could be someone else's daughter. You wouldn't like it if someone approached your mother, your sister or your daughter. So don't behave in a way that's inappropriate. It doesn't befit you. Why? Because you're a servant of Allah. You are the servant of Allah. You are Abdullah. So don't do something that will earn the displeasure of Allah Azza wa Jal. Young woman, behave like a woman. You need to have ghira. You need to have shame. You need to have all of those important qualities. Don't behave like a person who is outside of the fold of Islam. Behave like a Muslim, a Muslimah. Allah Azza wa Jalla has blessed you with Islam. On the day of Eid, let us not take part in things that will destroy everything that we have earned. It is your responsibility as a father to ensure that your children, it is your responsibility as a father to ensure that your children do not do something that is against the teaching of Allah and His Rasul. It is your responsibility. Do not leave it to your children. You have to take ownership of your children. If your son is going in a direction where he's going to have an accident, if your daughter is going in a direction where she's going to have an accident, you have to stop that. You're the father, you're the mother, it is your responsibility. Brothers and sisters, the day of Eid is a day of celebration. What does that mean? Listening to music, listening to haram, doing things that are inappropriate. It is a day of remembering Allah Azza wa Jal. And inshallah the Imams, the Khatibs, they're going to mention this, but I felt I have to mention this. Why? Because what we see on the day of Eid, it very much hurts us. Why? Throughout the first 10 days of Dhuʻl-Hijjah, we really push ourselves. On the day of Eid, it doesn't look no longer like a Muslim festival. It doesn't look like a Muslim festival. So we really have to take ownership of what belongs to us. And this is the responsibility of parents, mothers and fathers. May Allah Azza wa Jalla give each one of us the tawfiq bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. The last few days we have, let us make the best out of those, especially the day of Arafat, when we should be making dua. An example that I want to give, and we're going to conclude with this, is Abdullah ibn al-Mubarak rahimahullah ta'ala, who is the teacher of Imam al-Bukhari. He is on the field of Arafat. And on the field of Arafat he comes and everybody is making dua. He finds Sufyan al-Thawri rahimahullah ta'ala on his knees making lengthy du'as on the day of Arafah. And he says, Jittu ila Sufyan al-Thawri. I came to Sufyan al-Thawri. وَهُوَ جَاثٍ عَلَى رُكْبَتَيْهِ. He is on his knees. He is crying to Allah Azza wa Jal. فَقُلْتُ, I said, مَنْ أَسْوَأُ النَّاسِ حَالًا. Who is the worst person amongst us today? He said in response, Sufyan al-Thawri in response, he says, الَّذِي يَظُنُّ أَنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَغْفِرُ لَهُ. The one who thinks Allah will not forgive him. Subhanallah bihamdi. On the day of Arafah, lengthy du'as, any opportunity that I get. Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu, he used to make lengthy du'as all the way from Fajr, all the way to Isha on the day of Arafah. Those of us who have lost our mother and father, may Allah grant them Jannatul Firdaus. Those of us who are having trouble at home with our children, may Allah Azza wa Jalla make it easy for us. Those children who are struggling with parents and problems that parents face, may Allah Azza wa Jalla make it easy. And those who are unwell, may Allah Azza wa Jalla grant them shifa from His Dar al-Shifa. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروا إنه هو الغفور الرحيم.